Hey everyone, ready to kick those motivational slumps to the curb? I mean, who hasn't felt stuck in that rut?
It's so common, right?
Totally. And we're all tired of that just try harder advice. It's
Yeah.
just not helpful. So today we're going deep on how to actually cultivate that consistent drive. That feeling of being in the zone where you just get things done.
Love that feeling.
Right. And we've got two really cool sources to help us crack the code. One's this super fast-paced video, almost feels like MTV, all about quick motivation hacks. It's in English.
Okay, got it. Fast-paced.
Yeah. And then, to balance things out, we've got a Hindi video that takes a more, almost philosophical approach, like a spiritual guide to getting motivated.
Interesting. It's like two totally different languages, but both aiming for that same result. Getting us moving and keeping us going.
Exactly. And speaking of getting moving, the English video jumps right in with this thing called the 2-minute rule. Have you heard of that?
I have. It's a classic. And
Yeah.
such a clever way to, outsmart your own brain.
Oh, tell me more. How does that work?
Well, think about it. As humans, we're kind of programmed to, conserve energy. So starting anything new, it feels like a huge effort.
Oh, 100%. Like when you're cozy on the couch and even the thought of going to the gym feels like running a marathon.
Exactly. That's our brains resisting change. But the 2-minute rule, it kind of sneaks past that resistance. You're only committing to 2 minutes.
So small, right? It almost feels silly to say no.
Exactly. And then what often happens is, well, think about it. Ever start cleaning just one tiny corner of your room?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm on a cleaning rampage.
That's the 2-minute rule in action. Once you overcome that initial, you're more likely to keep going.
So there's like a psychological reason for that.
There is. It's called the Zeigarnik effect.
Yeah.
Our brains actually hate leaving things unfinished.
Oh, wow. So starting something, even for just 2 minutes, creates this mental tension we need to resolve.
Exactly. And it's used everywhere. Think cliffhangers in movies, those to be continued messages. They're tapping into that need for closure.
That's so cool. We're being manipulated by psychology.
In a way, yeah. But the 2-minute rule, it's like we're hijacking that tendency and using it for our own benefit.
I like it. Turning the tables on our brains.
And it works across cultures, situations. It's not just about cleaning or going to the gym.
So anything we're putting off, right? Writing that report, starting that new hobby.
Anything.
Yeah.
That initial resistance is usually the biggest hurdle.
In that English video, they really nail that sense of urgency. It's all about hacking your way to success. But now, let's see what our Hindi video has to say. They start off with this idea of apna wai dunho, finding your purpose.
And that's where the contrast between the two really jumps out. English video is all about quick fixes, while the Hindi video is like, hold on, let's go deeper. What's driving you?
Right. It's like they're saying, before you even think about tricks, figure out what really matters to you.
Exactly. It's connecting to something bigger than yourself, finding a purpose that truly resonates.
I can already see how that would make such a difference. It's like, instead of grinding through tasks just because you have to, you're fueled by meaning.
That's the key. When you've got that strong why, the how almost takes care of itself.
So true. But does the English video even touch on this why idea?
Yeah.
It seems so focused on those quick hacks.
They do. But they call it rewiring your why. It's more about shifting your perspective on existing goals.
Oh, I see. So less about discovering a brand new purpose and more about finding deeper meaning in what you're already doing.
Exactly. For example, they talk about money. It's not just about needing it, but seeing it as a tool for freedom.
Ooh, I like that. So instead of, I need to make more money, it's, I want financial freedom to travel, pursue my passions.
Yes, you're not denying the practical need, you're just connecting it to something more personally meaningful.
Okay, that's making a lot of sense. They also talk about reframing exercise, right?
They do. It's not about forcing yourself to lose weight. It's about wanting to move your body because it makes you feel good. Energized, capable.
I'm seeing the pattern here. It's all about tapping into that intrinsic motivation. That's what keeps you going.
Exactly. Both videos, they might use different words, different styles, but they're both pointing us toward that same core truth.
Finding that deeper why is like unlocking a whole new level of motivation.
It really is. And that's where the real magic happens.
So we're all fired up about finding our why.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those times when, motivation just dips?
Totally. Life happens.
Right. Like you start off strong, then bam, hit a wall.
Yeah.
What do we do when those roadblocks pop up?
Well, our Hindi video has a really cool tip for this. They call it Chota Kam, Bada Result. Small actions, big results.
Ooh, I like that. So instead of getting overwhelmed by the big picture, you break it down.
Exactly. Think of it like, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time. Is that where you're going with this?
Yes. It's the same idea. Sometimes we get so fixated on that huge goal, we forget to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Which is so important, right? It's like those little victories, they keep you going.
And there's actually science behind it. It's called the progress principle. Every little win, it triggers dopamine in our brains.
Oh, dopamine. That's the, like, feel-good chemical.
You got it. The one that makes us want more.
So basically, by celebrating those small wins, we're training our brains to crave progress.
Exactly. And it builds momentum, too. Like, think about pushing a heavy object.
Ooh, yeah. That first push is the toughest, but once it's moving, way easier.
Exactly. Small wins, they're like those initial pushes, getting us rolling towards those bigger goals.
The Hindi video has some great examples, like, can't commit to a full workout, just do 5 minutes.
Right. Or struggling with a huge book, just read 1 page a day.
Love that. It takes the pressure off.
And that pressure, that feeling of overwhelm, that's a motivation killer.
Big time. Like, instead of staring up at this massive mountain, you're just focused on that next step.
And before you know it, you've climbed the whole thing. Speaking of tackling challenges, our English video, well, they have a slightly more unconventional approach.
Ooh, lay it on me. What's their secret weapon?
They call it stealing motivation. Basically using jealousy as fuel.
Wait, hold up. Jealousy, isn't that like a negative emotion?
It can be, but they're talking about channeling it productively, finding people who are already achieving what you want, almost like a hate watch, but with a positive spin.
Interesting. So you're saying instead of letting jealousy bring you down, you use it to fire you up.
Exactly. Instead of, they have it so easy, it's, okay, what are they doing that I can learn from?
So it's about finding inspiration in other people's success,
Yeah.
like borrowing strategies from their playbook.
Precisely. And it can push you beyond your comfort zone. Seeing someone achieve what you thought was impossible, that can be a huge motivator.
That's true. It's like, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly. The English video even suggests saving screenshots of those success stories, like visual reminders.
Ooh, like a vision board, but with a bit of an edge to it?
Haha, exactly. But of course, the stealing motivation thing, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I can see that. It takes a certain level of, like, self-awareness.
You need to be able to channel that jealousy the right way. If it just leads to negativity, it's not helpful.
So it's all about finding what works for you, right?
Exactly. Some people thrive on collaboration, others on that competitive spirit. It's about knowing yourself.
I love that. And it reminds me of something both videos touch on, those inevitable ups and downs.
Yes. The Hindi video has this beautiful phrase for it. Failure ko feedback samjho.
Which means?
Seeing failure as feedback.
Wow, I love that. So it's not about avoiding setbacks, it's about how we view them.
Exactly. Instead of I'm a failure, it's, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust and keep moving forward?
So powerful. And it goes back to that growth mindset, right?
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about constantly learning and evolving.
Our culture is so obsessed with overnight success, but the reality is anything worthwhile takes time and effort and bumps along the way.
Absolutely. And it's in those messy, imperfect moments that we often discover our greatest strengths. You build resilience, you learn to adapt.
And that's what helps you keep going when things get tough.
Exactly. So yeah, both videos, they really highlight that embracing the journey, the ups and downs, it's all part of it.
And speaking of embracing the journey, both videos have one final point to make.
It's a good one.
So it sounds like both of these videos, they're kind of busting this myth that motivation is like this magical thing that just appears when you need it.
Right. It's not like a light switch. You can't just flip it on.
Exactly. It's more like, I don't know, what's a good analogy?
A muscle.
Yes. A muscle that needs to be trained.
You got to work it out, make it stronger.
The more you practice those techniques, like finding your why, breaking down goals, reframing failure, the stronger your motivation muscle gets.
It's like any skill. You don't just magically wake up one day knowing how to play guitar.
Or speak Hindi.
Right. You got to put in the time and effort.
Embrace the stumbles.
And the cool thing is, as that motivation muscle gets stronger, it's not just about your current goals.
It spills over into everything.
You're better equipped to tackle any challenge that comes your way.
So it's not just about, like, finishing that one project.
It's a mindset shift.
You're building this, like, inner drive that helps you achieve anything.
And that's powerful stuff.
It really is. It's like both of these videos, they're giving us this secret decoder ring for our own minds.
Once you understand how motivation works, you can actually start to play with it.
Experiment, see what works best for you.
Exactly. There's no one size fits all.
Some things will resonate more than others.
It's all about being curious, trying new things, and figuring out what makes you tick.
And of course, celebrating those small wins along the way. Can't forget that dopamine boost.
It's like rocket fuel for your motivation.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have a challenge for everyone listening.
Oh, I love a good challenge.
Think about one small step you can take today to break free from that rut.
It doesn't have to be huge.
Even just 5 minutes dedicated to that thing you've been putting off.
Or spend a few minutes reflecting on your why.
Anything to get the ball rolling.
Build that momentum.
Because you are capable of incredible things.
You really are.
The power to unlock your full potential, it's all right there inside you.
Just gotta take that first step.
Such a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into motivation.
It's been fun exploring these different perspectives.
Hope you all learned some cool new tricks and are feeling inspired to tackle those goals.
Absolutely.
And remember, keep that motivation fire burning bright.
Until next time.